What's going on, everybody? You hear the music, you know what time it is, and that means it is time for a brand new episode of The Jump Off. I am your host, KOD X Factor, and thank you guys so much for coming back with us. We greatly appreciate it. We know this episode is a little late. We had expected to record this episode on Friday. That didn't happen. We kind of got a little bit caught up with some Super Smash Brothers, which I'm going to talk about not really a lot, but just what's going on with the review for that, because I know some of y'all have been looking for it. We've also been really tied down this weekend. We got this area kind of got hit with some winter weather. I will say one thing before I kind of go any further. North Carolina, because that's where we are, we're in North Carolina, has been hit with some pretty crazy weather over the past 4 to 5 months. We had, 2 hurricanes come through here. We had that winter storm that just came through here over the weekend. Now, our particular area that our office is in didn't really get hit. It didn't get hit that bad at all. We were actually able to drive no problem. There was just some ice flakes that kind of hit. But other than that, it was mainly rain. But you go just a little, maybe go like an hour north, and they got hit really bad with snow. So at least thankfully we didn't really get hit all that bad when it came to the winter weather. But it has been really cold the last couple months. And last year around this time it was somewhat, I won't say warm, but it was more pleasant. I was actually able to kind of go outside without a jacket on and just kind of relax. And sweatpants, the no jacket. But now we're bundled up. And sicknesses and cold are starting to make their way. My family's been hit with some bad colds and stomach bugs. It's been a wild couple months. I'll just put it that way. So I say that to say this to y'all. Be careful out there. If you're in one of those areas that's getting hit with some massive snow, please be careful out there. If you don't need to drive nowhere, don't drive anywhere. It's not worth it. But if you are in one of those areas, just please be safe out there. If you're sick at home and you happen to be listening to us because you're laying in bed or something like that, get better soon. We know these colds, it happens always this time of year. It always just kind of comes in and goes out. If it gets to the point where it's so bad, at least go see your doctor, go see your local doctor, get it all taken care of. That way you have at least a peaceful holiday with Christmas coming up just in a couple weeks. But it's been a big December already. And I will say this, December this time around has actually been kind of interesting. We had the Game Awards that just happened last Thursday night. And that's going to be a big topic here on this show. And we're going to kind of go through, some of the award winners, what had transpired, some of the world premieres that they had showed off, and just our honest opinion on what the show was like this year. Because there's a lot that had happened. There's a lot that to get into with that. We're also going to look at, like I said, I'm going to kind of go over what's going on with the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate review that we have. That will be coming, and then we have a new one called Salt and Sanctuary, I think is the name of it. That'll be here this week. So we have some gameplay going up for that as well as a review. So we have at least 2 or 3 reviews coming down the pipeline now. One game in particular that I have been playing a bunch of right now, and I'm on the fence on whether this is something I should put a review together for, because we haven't reviewed the game yet, and it just got a retail physical release, and I want to throw this out there to you guys. Do you think we should do a review on a game that's over a year old? I, for one, do not mind doing one. The game came out in 2017. I want to say it came out in 2017 as a PS4 exclusive at one point, and then it transitioned over to Xbox in 2018. And now we got an actual physical disc release of the game for both PlayStation and Xbox, with some of the updates and graphic updates, stuff like that, especially if you're playing on 4K or whatnot. And it's from the developer Ninja Theory, and the game is called Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. First time it got a retail disc release, and it came out last week. Now, we have been playing that game very heavy in the past week. I've got like 5 or 6 videos already geared up for that. We've already released 2 of them, and I'm talking about the Let's Play walkthroughs of the game. So there are quite a few coming down the pipeline for that game until we at least finish it. Now, the game is not overly long in length. It's kind of relatively short. So what I mean by that, the game is around, 4 to 6 hours maybe in length. So but it's a deep story. And I will say, if you have played the game, if you have played Senua's Sacrifice, I would like to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on it as well. Or if this is the first time you're actually venturing it, because like me, this is the first time I've had hands-on or ventured into the game. I heard about it last year, but I didn't really give it my full attention at the point of release. And then it really started to hit my attention when they released it on Xbox, and I was like, I kind of want to give this game a try. And then I heard, especially after Xbox bought Ninja Theory, that they were going to be working on a retail physical release of the game. And I was like, this actually may be a really good opportunity to pick this game up and give it a try. Because for one, I prefer physical releases to digital ones. That's not to say I won't get a digital release. I just prefer a physical one to a digital one. So when I heard that they were releasing in a physical version of it, I was all for it. I was ready to go. And what this game has shown me is that video games have come to a point where, I'm trying to collect my thoughts as I'm saying this, but video games have come to a point now where the medium is there to where it can showcase off any type of game it wants, make it relevant, and have a meaning behind it. Now, if you don't know what Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is, let me break it down. Just kind of skim the top of what it is. It's in the Viking Celtic era, I say Celtic, but Celtic era, with the Vikings, and you are playing a woman who has lost her loved one, and she's battling these inner demons, and these inner demons are talking in her head, they're bashing her mind around, and this is basically a game of how people battle mental illness, not just today, but even back then in that era, especially in a time period where there wasn't really much medication to go off of. There wasn't much help to kind of help people out that had illnesses like these. And we're talking about severe mental disabilities and mental illnesses. All the way to the point that you're hearing voices in your head, you're seeing illusions, you're seeing things happen that aren't actually happening around you. It's a real life thing. This isn't something that's just made up to progress through the game. This isn't something that's just happening to this character that doesn't happen in real life. This is something that actual people go through. And the lengths that the studio had gone to bring in people to kind of help the developers understand what it's like to have a mental illness, a psychiatric disorder, the leaps and bounds. Now, if you have the game, or if you plan on picking the game up, you got to play this game with a headset. I said it in one of the Let's Play videos. I think like within the first 2 episodes or parts in that series that I was playing, you need a headset to play this game. Because when you're playing the game, there's 3D voice modulation going on around you as you're playing. So you hear voices really talking in your head on both headphones. So they're divided. One's telling you do this, one's telling you do that. They're talking bad about you. They're like, no, she's not going to do it. Yes, she is going to do it. It's a constant battle of hearing these voices along with this world that's there that you're playing in, demons that you're fighting, actually physically fighting, but are not actually there. It's crazy how it works out. And this is a real life scenario that people today go through. And I think the fact that the studio shed light on this is monumental. I applaud Ninja Theory for what they did with this game. Now, the game may not be very long. It's not a very long game. It's a puzzle-based game with some combat, and you progress through the story. It's the story that really hooks you. The puzzles are kind of, they're not bad, but the puzzles themselves even have a callback to people with psychiatric disorders because they see images in their mind that connect to something real world. And that's essentially what these puzzles are. There's something that you see of an illusion that you have to kind of put into correlation with something that's in the real world that helps you progress further into the story. They're almost like keys that open doorways. And the fact that they went that detailed with this is absolutely crazy to me. And I love for studios to kind of take a pretty big leap with something like this. This is not an easy game to pitch to investors. But the fact that they got this game done, and it's actually as good as like some of those really, really boxes. I prefer this over Fallout 76 any day. And the game is actually really, really well done. I want to do a review on the game. I think I'm going to, when it's all said and done, I think I'm going to do a review on the game. But the game, the fact that it took a year for it to really kind of start coming to the masses like that, and the fact that not many people were even talking about it, and this game launched a year ago, is mind-boggling to me. This is a game I think a lot of people should have talked about. I think it might have won like a game award, maybe for like some of the voice acting or the motion cap, because the motion cap is absolutely brilliant. But I'm kind of astonished that this game wasn't as talked up as much as it should have been. And the game's not, for the game length, I mean, you're playing 4 to 6 hours of gameplay. The game's not priced at $60, so you're not going to pay a full price for a game like this. I think they ended up charging, $29.99, which is not bad at all for that game. I paid a lot more for much crappier games, I put it to you honestly. So that's what we've been playing really, really heavy, that game, and I'm actually just really, really astonished with it. We should be finishing it up here pretty soon. I think we're in one of the last areas of the game. So we should be rolling up and finishing that game here probably by the end of the week, I'm hoping. But one of the other games I got my hands on, and we actually have a video of in our YouTube channel, is the Devil May Cry 5 demo that had launched post-Game Awards for Xbox One users only. Well, it's an Xbox One exclusive, is the demo. Now, the demo's not overly long. So, I mean, I think the demo only took us, 20, 25 minutes? But it gave you a good feel of the mechanics, the combat, and you actually even get to have like a boss fight at the end. Visually, I'll say this, because I'm a huge Devil May Cry fan. Always have been. Love all the games of Devil May Cry with the exception of number 2. Love the series, love the characters. Devil May Cry 5 is so fluid. Like from the combat to the game mechanics to the combos, it is smooth. Just absolutely smooth. And graphically, it looks fantastic. I can't say enough. It looks phenomenal. I cannot say enough about the graphics on it. It looks great. The characters play well. And then you only get to play with Nero in the demo. And you get to, and they show you a couple of the orbs you can collect. They show you where you can go to get your upgrades for your character. And how, because you remember in Devil May Cry 4, Nero had that arm that can extend out and pick things up. They kind of show you how he still has that, but with like a mechanical arm. Now, I'm sure where the demo picks up and takes place at is much further into the actual story than where the game's going to start off when the actual product ships in March. And the fact that this demo is actually available now, and we're in December, and the game doesn't come out till March, shows you that Capcom is actually really, really confident in this game. And based off of what I played, and like I said, you can go to our YouTube channel and check out the entire playthrough of the demo on our Devil May Cry 5 Let's Play video. I can see why they're confident. They should be. The game plays brilliantly. And I can't wait to get my hands on the final product. First of all, I can't wait to play as Dante. But just overall, the game looks and feels great. and I can't wait to play a little bit more Devil May Cry 5. So if you have an Xbox One, just go to the Xbox store, type in Devil May Cry 5. It's one of the options there. And you'll see the game demo I think I found it like on one of the last ones, like the far right. Download the Xbox One exclusive demo and give it a shot. Give it a play. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're a fan of Devil May Cry 5, there should be no reason why you don't play this. If you're on the fence about it, give it a try, see what you think about it. You may find that you really, really enjoy it. I did, but I've been a Devil May Cry fan for a long period of time. So what we're going to talk about now, just before we close out here, we are going to now talk about the Video Game Awards that had happened on last Thursday in California. Now, I have been one that has publicly criticized the Game Awards for many years. I was not a huge fan of them. I think it still had much to grow. I think it had to really, really kind of find itself. Because I think the show that they had done over the past number of years has not really been up to par. Last year's was okay. You can see like over the years, especially when they got away from network television and they really kind of went more towards the streaming services, is where the production kind of picked up a little bit. It started to get better and better and better. Excuse me. This year was actually a pretty decent show. I will go to say that. The show was actually pretty decent. Excuse me. See, the cold is almost coming to hit me now. But it actually had a really, really good show. It wasn't a great, fantastic show, but it was actually a pretty decent show. They had some pretty cool world premieres. Some world premieres I was kind of like, really? They had some awards that I was kind of surprised at. Game of the Year was one of them. I was pleasantly surprised, I'll say that much. Some games that I felt deserved the award, they got it. The developers, it seemed like the community had really come together for this award ceremony. And even on Twitter, people were talking about it. It was a really good show. I will say this, excuse me, Jeff Keighley, who is the one that orchestrates the Game Awards and puts it all together every year, did one thing to open the show this year that I thought was brilliant. I thought it was a really, really good move. I thought it was really, really smart, really cool to kind of see it. And when they brought the heads of Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo onto the stage at one time, all of them collectively together at one time, to kind of open up the Game Awards, and it was all a talk of unity. We are all together in the video game industry. It's not about one console as opposed to the other. This is a united front. We are all part of one big community, one big family. And I thought that was a really, really strong message to send out. Because in all honesty, let's look at all the different communities of people that are out there. For anything, one of the strongest tight-knit communities that's out there is the video game community. It's one of the most open communities. It's the one community where you're not really frowned upon for what you do or maybe sometimes what you say. If you're like on an online platform and you're playing some online games, some people can say some pretty stupid things. But it's really, really open, and it's a helpful community. It's a community that's out there to try to promote good and decency in people. Even though some of the games that we play may not portray that same message. But in all honesty, it's a community of people that are supportive, and they will let you know if something is not up to par or just right. That's just how the community goes. Look, how many times have fans gone out the studios? They're doing it right now with Fallout 76. It's a strong, tight-knit community. It's a community, it's hard to win over, but if you win it over, it's a rewarding community. And I think to open up the Game Awards shows with these three, with that message of unity, I thought set a really, really positive wave through that auditorium and was a perfect way to open up the Game Awards, because that's what the Game Awards are. It was a celebration of all the great product that had been put out that year and for all the hardworking people that put that product together. It was a celebration. It's what it was. And it needed to be treated that way. And I think that's probably been some of my problem with the Game Awards over the past few years, is it really should be more of a celebration of the community within. Not so much like having a 50 Cent performance that has absolutely nothing to do with the community at all. Or some other type of rock star performances for people that have no business being there anyway. Or having guest speakers or guest presenters on the stage that have never played a video game in their life. Trust me, fans can see through all of that crap. And the community can see through all that garbage. That's what they do. And they've been doing it, and they've been criticizing the Game Awards for many years. And I think this year they just kind of hit that happy medium. I was a little bit kind of turned off when I saw Jonah Hill up there, but, you know, I was like, really? I mean, how often does Jonah Hill really play games like that? Or how familiar is he with the industry? You could have got somebody that's really, really familiar with the industry. I think the year that they had Kiefer Sutherland on there was absolutely, because you could tell he's familiar with that industry. He knows it really, really well. He worked with Hideo Kojima. You know, if you're going to work with anybody within the industry, that's one dude you work with, you're like, okay, I see the art that goes into this medium. And I think that's been a problem, is a lot of the people they get to present or perform don't really see the art aspect of this entertainment medium. They don't see it. You have to get people that know it, that understand it. And I think this year they did a much better job with doing that, especially when it came to presenters. I thought the one presenter that I thought was actually brilliant was the voice actor for Atreus and Kratos from God of War series. Or from God of War. And then he asked the boy to do like the favorite catchphrase from the game, calling him boy at the end. I thought that was pretty cool. Really, really smooth. I think the presenters that they had this year fit with the industry. They're from the industry. They know it. I thought that was a really, really cool, calculated move. Now, when it comes to the winners, the Game of the Year winner, which was God of War, by the way, I thought was an excellent choice. One, because I love Red Dead. For me, I don't think Assassin's Creed should have been nominated. That's just my opinion. But in a few of those other games, I don't think they should have been nominated. Like, I don't think Monster Hunter should have been nominated. It was a great game. Don't get me wrong. We actually gave it a really good review. I don't think it's Game of the Year worthy. But God of War, yes, definitely. That's the one I've been pulling for this entire year. I was actually really, really happy. Honestly, I thought Red Dead was going to get it because Red Dead seemed to be running away with a lot of awards. I mean, it got like the music award, the voice actor award. I was actually kind of expecting Red Dead to actually pull away with that one. But to actually see the studio from Sony Santa Monica pull away with that, brilliant choice. I thought that was that was who I chose for the Game of the Year winner. On our website, our number one game of 2018 was God of War. Spider-Man was up there as well. Red Dead was up there as well. I think those three, should definitely be within that conversation of Game of the Year. But the fact that they gave it to God of War, I was actually really, really happy with. I thought I thought that's who the winner was. And I look forward to what is coming down the pipeline from Sony Santa Monica. The voice actor, I was actually okay with the voice actor from Red Dead winning it. I think he actually did a really, really good job with Red Dead and working with Rockstar. Some of the musical performances, I was kind of like, was it just me, or did the performance for the Devil May Cry 5 just kind of seem out of place? And first of all, why did they do a musical performance from one of the songs that's in the Devil May Cry 5 game, and that game's not even out, not yet? I can see if you did it like next year during the show or something like that, but that game was not even out yet. And we just got the demo, for crying out loud. And one other thing I did not like about the Game Awards, and I hope that they change this going forward, is I wish there was a way to incorporate, maybe wait to do the Game Awards in early January. Let the full year commence before you start making your nominees. Because honestly, Smash Bros. Ultimate is actually a really good game. And could have been nominated in a few of those categories that they had up there, especially like multiplayer game, fighting game. That could have been nominated up there. And the fact that it's missing out on the awards because of just the time frame that the game's coming out. The game launched the same night as the Game Awards. I think the Game Awards should take place after January or after the start of the new year. So that way you get all the games that came out in December as part of consideration for the show. Now, we haven't gotten our hands on Salt and Sanctuary yet. I'm kind of looking forward to playing that. That could have been another possibility of a game to get nominated for something. But the fact that it hasn't yet, that it hasn't been released yet, Smash Brothers is one. And, these are games that could have gotten consideration. And I know every year there's games, because the majority of the games come out before, during November timeframe. I mean, but how many November games even got consideration for Game of the Year? Because they had already pulled their nominees by November. So games that come out in the middle or end of November, or maybe even early November, are not even in part of the conversation. That's a little bit troublesome to me. But I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts and opinions are on the show. Let us know what you guys thought about the Game Awards. I would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you visit us on our website at www.GameNightLounge.wordpress.com. You can also go to our YouTube channel, which is at The Game Night Lounge. Visit us and hit us up on Twitter. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as well. Our handle is at Game Night Lounge. My personal Twitter is at KODXFactor. And make sure you hit us up on Facebook. We are at The Game Night Lounge as well. And our website, again, is www.GameNightLounge.wordpress.com. So thank you guys so much for listening. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. To all of our guests that appear on this show and future shows that are part of the Game Night Lounge Media Network, I am KODX Factor. This is The Jump Off. And until next time, everybody, game on.